So last class we have discussed one lemma, and the statement of the lemma is if M is a relatively compact set, then for every epsilon greater than 0 there exists a finite epsilon net in M. Okay. So now what about the converse part? Conversely assume that for every epsilon greater than 0 there exists a finite epsilon net in M. And now we have to prove M is relatively compact. That means we have to prove that for every sequence xn belongs to M, there exists a Cauchy subsequence xni. That means we have to prove that for every sequence xn, we have to prove that every sequence xn, and there exists a Cauchy subsequence means for every epsilon greater than 0, there exists an integer n such that for every m comma n greater than or equal to n, we have to prove that modulus of x n m minus x n n less than epsilon. Okay, here this is the xn, the sequence xn I is the Cauchy subsequence of our xn. I am replacing the notation xni by xni. Okay, clear? Now to prove M is relatively compact, consider a sequence xn in M, and we have to prove that this sequence has a Cauchy subsequence. Let xn be a sequence in M. Okay, and we have to prove this sequence is a Cauchy subsequence xni, and here we are using this notation. Okay, so now first listen carefully. Here for all k belongs to n, we are taking an epsilon k less than or equal to 1 by 2k. For all k belongs to n, we are take an epsilon k such that epsilon k is less than or equal to 1 by 2k. Okay, so what about epsilon 1? Epsilon 1 is less than or equal to 1 by 2. Okay, what about epsilon 2? Epsilon 2 is less than or equal to 1 by 4. Epsilon 3 is less than or equal to 1 by 6. Epsilon 4 is less than or equal to 1 by 8, etc. Okay, so for each k belongs to n, we get epsilon 1, epsilon 2, epsilon 3, etc. Choose epsilon 1, take an epsilon and k such that epsilon k less than or equal to 1 by 2k. Okay, so clearly epsilon 1 must be less than or equal to 1 by 2. That means epsilon 1 may be 1 by 3, 1 by 4, etc. Okay, so and epsilon 2 must be less than or equal to 1 by 4. And epsilon 3 must be less than or equal to 1 by 6, etc. Okay, by assumption M has a finite epsilon k net. Because we assume that for every epsilon greater than 0, M has a finite epsilon net. Okay, so this implies M has a finite epsilon 1 net. Similarly, M has a finite epsilon 2 net. Similarly, M has a finite epsilon 3 net. Similarly, etc. Okay, now what do you mean by an epsilon 1 net? Epsilon 1 epsilon net in M. For every x belongs to M, you can find a y belongs to that net such that norm of x minus y must be less than epsilon. Okay, if epsilon k. Okay, clear? Now first consider epsilon 1. Okay, so by assumption M has a finite epsilon 1 net. Okay, what is the meaning of that? This means suppose this epsilon 1 net be some m1, just notation just for okay, so let m1 script m1 is the finite epsilon 1 net. What is the meaning of that? Given any x belongs to m, or for every x belongs to m, there exists a y belongs to m1 such that distance between x and y1 is strictly less than epsilon 1. Okay, this implies norm of x minus y is less than epsilon 1. Okay, so clearly and this is true for every x belongs to m. Okay, so for every x belongs to m, there exists some y belongs to m1 such that this condition holds. Okay, so this m1 is a finite, therefore this may contain some finite number of elements y1, y2, suppose this exists some y3, 3 elements. What is the meaning of that? Norm of x minus y less than epsilon 1. Okay, similarly norm of x minus y2 less than epsilon 1, norm of x minus y3 less than epsilon 1, and this is true for every x belongs to M. Okay, for every x belongs to M, either this condition holds, or this. So, if we consider M1 is equal to some set y1, y2, y3, script M1, okay, then we get norm of x minus y1 less than or equal to less than epsilon 1, norm of x minus y2 less than or equal to less than epsilon 1, norm of x minus y3 less than epsilon 1, and for every x belongs to M. So for every x belongs to M, either this condition holds. Now what about our sequence? See, our sequence xn is a sequence in M. Okay, therefore the elements in this sequence may be either in this board or in this board or in this board. Okay, so the elements of xn can be divided into in such a way that the elements must belongs to some epsilon 1 neighborhood. Okay, neighborhood of these elements in epsilon net. Okay, epsilon 1 net. Okay, so if you consider this, suppose this is some y1 and this is some y2 and this is some y3. Okay, clearly xn is a sequence. These all are epsilon. Clearly xn is a sequence. Okay, so xn, some elements must be in this set, some elements must be in this set, some elements. But xn is an infinite set. Okay, sequence is an infinite sequence. That means there exists some board and that contain infinitely many points in this sequence. Okay, and you consider one such board. Okay, and let suppose that means that board must contain infinitely many elements from xn. Okay, and we denote the sequence, the elements of xn containing in that board. Let it be this board, some y1. Okay, elements in this board B, we denote that sequence as xn1. Okay, so we get a sequence in xn1. Okay, so in generally you can take here only y1, y2, y3. Generally you can take y1, y2, etc. yn. Okay, in that case also you can find a board such that infinitely many points of this sequence belongs to that board. Okay, so you consider this, now you consider this sequence xn1. Okay, now consider epsilon 2 net. Okay, you consider this sequence xn1 and consider epsilon 2 net. Okay, that means epsilon 2 net means if clearly there exists a, if you consider epsilon 2, clearly there exists a finite epsilon 2 net in M. Okay, that means let it be some, I am denoting this as some M2. Finite, is it as it's finite, suppose this be some z1, z2. Okay, then what we get, norm of x minus z1 less than epsilon 2 and norm of x minus z2 less than epsilon 2. Okay, now xn1 is a sequence in M, therefore clearly xn1 belongs to M2 equal to z1 z2 means for every x belongs to M, either this condition holds or this condition holds. So So you can take some x z1, z2, z3, z4. Okay, that means norm of x minus z3 less than epsilon 3, norm of x minus z4 less than epsilon 4. Okay, so for any x belongs to M, here we get 4 balls. Okay, so 4 points must be in either in this ball or this ball or this ball. Okay, so some points of this sequence xn1 also, here we are considering this sequence. These xn1s are here, okay, and here xn1, consider this xn1, and clearly xn1 belongs to some other sequences, other balls centered with z2, okay, z1, z2, z3, z4, okay, clearly all these are in this ball. Okay, these sequences are clearly in this ball, therefore these balls are in here. Some z1, z2, z3, z4. And clearly also these sequences are infinite sequence. Therefore clearly there exists some ball that contain infinitely many members of this sequence. Okay, let it be z2. Okay, let it be this ball. Okay, and this contain infinitely many sequence of this sequence. Okay, so xn1, and let it be, we denote that sequence as xn2. Okay, proceeding like this, so this xn1, this xn2 is also contained in xn2 is also contained in this ball. Okay, therefore if you take any two elements of this set, clearly norm of xn2 minus some xm2. What about this value? Clearly all these elements are in this set, and also clearly this is less than, all these are in this ball also, therefore clearly this is less than 1 by 1. Okay, this is less than epsilon 1. Okay, all these points are here, therefore this is less than epsilon 1. Also you must note one thing, the distance between xn2 and xm2 is clearly less than epsilon 1, because clearly these are in this ball. Also, sorry, this is not epsilon 1, this is 2 times epsilon 1, because the diameter is, okay. Also norm of xn2 minus xm2 is less than 2 epsilon 2 also, because all these are in this ball. Also this ball, the radius of this ball is epsilon 2, therefore diameter is 2 epsilon 2, therefore the distance between 2 points is clearly less than 2 times epsilon 2. Okay, so what we get? So if we choose epsilon 1, then we get this, our sequence xn, our sequence xn is this epsilon 1 net divide our sequence xn in between a finite number of balls, and you get one ball, and that contain infinitely many sequence of x1. This is epsilon 1. Okay, and this contains, okay, then this is called actually xn1. Okay, and after that if you take epsilon 2 net, then there exists actually some sequence. You can find a ball with radius epsilon 2, and these sequences are called xn2. Okay, and then finally then there exists some epsilon 3 and sequence xn3. Okay, xn3 here. Actually xn1, xn2 are subsequence of xn1. xn3 is a subsequence of xn2. Proceeding like this, you will finally reach a ball, okay, and radius some epsilon k minus 1, and it contains sequence xn k minus 1. Okay, and there exists a ball of radius epsilon k, and it contains infinitely many sequences or infinitely many points from sequence xn k minus 1. That means this, we denote this as xn k. So this is actually a subsequence of our sequence, this one. Okay, therefore if you take any 2 points of this sequence, then clearly norm of x and k minus x sum k is clearly strictly less than radius. What about the radius? 2 times epsilon k. Okay, but we choose epsilon k in such a way that epsilon k is less than 1 by 2k. Okay, therefore 2 epsilon k is strictly less than 1 by k. Okay, thus we get, what about what is the meaning of this? Thus we get is, if you consider this sequence x and k, clearly this is a x and k is a subsequence of xk minus 1, and this is a subsequence of xn k minus 2, etc. Finally we get this is actually a subsequence of our sequence xn. Okay, now we have to prove that this sequence is a Cauchy sequence. Okay, now that means for all eta greater than 0, we can choose a nu belongs to n such that 1 by nu less than or equal to eta, and then for all m comma n greater than or equal to nu, we have this result, norm of xn n minus xm m less than or equal to 1 by nu less than or equal to eta. Let's look at, for all eta, for any epsilon or epsilon greater than 0, you can clearly choose a nu belongs to n such that 1 by nu less than or equal to eta. Hope it is clear. If some phi, if you take eta is equal to some phi, then what about nu? Nu must be such that 1 by nu must be less than phi. Okay, so what about nu? If you take some nu is equal to, you can clearly choose some 10. Okay, so suppose eta is equal to 1 by 2. Okay, then what about nu? You have to choose nu in such a way nu is less than 1 by 2. Okay, so you choose nu is equal to 4, then clearly 1 by 4 is less than 1 by 2. Okay, so for an eta greater than or equal to 0, clearly we can choose nu belongs to n such that 1 by nu is less than or equal to eta. Okay, 1 by nu is less than or equal to eta. We have 1 by k. If you choose 1 by k, then clearly 2 times epsilon k is less than 1 by k. So what about this one? 1 by nu is less than or equal to eta, but 1 by nu is clearly 2 epsilon nu is less than 1 by nu, and this is less than or equal to eta. Now what about 2 epsilon nu? If you consider epsilon nu net, and if you consider any elements, clearly norm of x m nu minus x n nu, clearly this is less than 2 epsilon nu, and this is less than 1 by nu. Okay, so you consider this actually the elements in 2 nu, the elements in ball with, suppose this is epsilon nu. Okay, and the subsequence of xm nu minus 1, infinity subsequence must contain in this set, and this sequence I am denoting as x n nu. Okay, clear? Okay, clear? Okay, so and now we have to prove this condition. Okay, x I nu. Okay, now just look at this. Suppose this is first ball, our first ball epsilon 1, and the sequence in this set is, I am denoting this as xn1. Okay, so this is actually xn, x11, x1, x21, x31, x41, x51, x61, x71, like this. Okay, elements are x11, x12, x21, x31, etc. Then consider another ball here. Suppose this is epsilon 2 and elements of this set. Okay, this I am denoting as xn2. Okay, so this is actually x12, x1, x22, x23, etc. Okay, and elements are x21, x12, x22, x32, etc. Clearly all these elements are belongs to this set. Okay, clear? Okay, then finally we are reaching, so clearly if you consider these elements, that means here case 1, here case 2. Okay, so if you consider any x, n, k, okay, then clearly, and if you consider some x n k plus 1, clearly x n k plus 1 is subsequence of x n k. Okay, and clearly these elements are clearly belongs to epsilon k net. Okay, neighborhood ball. Okay, so if you consider some x n or x m n or x, if you consider now finally some, we are considering some. Okay, this is some epsilon nu. Okay, so here elements are actually x n nu. Okay, so elements are x1 nu, x2 nu, x3 nu, etc. Okay, suppose some m is greater than nu. Here 2 is greater than 1, so 2 is here in this set, and 3 is greater than 2, so x and 3 belongs to this set. Okay, so clearly if m comma n greater than nu, then x n m comma x n n, clearly this belongs to this ball with radius in. Okay, also if you change this x1, that means these clearly these sequences. Okay, so here you can write here xn2. Okay, and some, okay, so here I am writing x1. Here next sequence is x13, x23, x33, etc. Okay, if you consider this ball, and clearly 2 and 3 are greater than 1, and clearly these elements are in this set, therefore x22 or x33 minus x22 clearly less than, norm is less than epsilon 1. Okay, so same procedure we are applying as x and n, m as m comma n greater than nu, x n m and x n n r clearly belongs to ball with radius epsilon nu. Therefore, norm of x m n minus x n n is strictly less than 2 times epsilon nu, and this is less than 1 by nu, and this is less than, I think this is less than or equal to eta. Okay. So as an example, if we list elements like this is elements in epsilon 1 ball, this ball with radius epsilon 1, and this is elements in ball with radius epsilon 2, and clearly this is a subsequence of this one, and like this. Okay, and if you set our mu as some 3, nu is equal to 3. Okay, and if you consider m comma n greater than nu, that is suppose m and n like this 4 and 5. Okay, then clearly all these elements are same as these elements. Okay, so clearly all these elements belongs to this epsilon 3 ball with radius epsilon 3. Okay, clear? Now that means distance between any two elements of this ball is clearly less than 2 epsilon 3. Now you choose these elements, this one and this one. Okay, clearly these are in this ball because all these are subsequence of this sequence. Okay, therefore norm of x55 minus x44 is clearly less than 2 epsilon k, 2 epsilon 3, and clearly this is less than or equal to this is clearly this is less than 1 by I think this is 1 by 3, and this is less than or equal to eta. Okay, now we are going to prove the subsequence is a Cauchy subsequence. Okay, for this let epsilon greater than 0, and we have to prove that there exists an integer n such that for all m comma n greater than or equal to n, norm of x n m minus x n n is less than epsilon. Okay, this is what we have to prove. Okay, so and now you choose n such that choose n such that n is greater than 2 by epsilon. N is greater than 2 by epsilon. Okay, so let m be the integer such that 1 by, okay, so for any, therefore for any m greater than n, okay, for any m greater than n, clearly 1 by m is less than 1 by n. Clearly 1 by okay, 1 by m is less than 1 by n. Okay, so for this m, okay, choose an n such that n greater than 2 by epsilon, clear, and choose let m be greater than n, and for this m m comma n greater than n, okay, 1 by m is clearly less than 1 by n. Okay, and 1 by n, what about 1 by n? 1 by n is clearly less than 1 by n is less than epsilon by 2. Okay, and if you take this m and consider this epsilon m net, okay, here you can consider for every k you can consider epsilon k net. So for m this satisfies actually norm of x m m minus x n m is less than or equal to 1 by m. Okay, I think this is clearly less than, this is less than, okay, this is less than 1 by m. and 1 by m is less than 1 by n, and this is less than epsilon by 2. This implies norm of x m m minus x n m is less than epsilon by 2. Okay. Also we have this result. Norm of x n n minus for this epsilon by epsilon, you choose some epsilon and consider epsilon by 2. If for eta you can consider epsilon by 2. Then we get norm of x n n minus x m n is less than, here this is actually this is strictly less than, okay, therefore this is less than epsilon by 2. Okay. Now to prove xnm is a Cauchy sequence, we have to prove this one, and we have these conditions, we get these conditions. Okay. Now norm of x n m minus x n n, we have to prove this, and we have this condition. Clearly this is equal to norm of x n m minus x m m plus x m m minus x n m. Okay. Here we are adding x m m and x m, subtracting x, and this is less than or equal to norm of x n m minus x m m plus norm of x m m minus x n n, sorry, this is x n n. We have to prove, we get this one, x n m minus x n n equal to this one, and this is less than or equal to using applying triangle inequality. Now what about x n m minus x m m? This is clearly less than epsilon by 2 plus x m m minus x, okay, x m m minus x n n, okay, x n n minus x m n. Okay, clearly this is less than epsilon by 2, and this is equal to epsilon. Okay, therefore for every epsilon greater than 0 there exists an integer n such that this condition holds. So our integer n is, we are choosing n such that for every epsilon greater than 0 we are choosing n such that n is greater than 2 by epsilon, and for this n this condition holds. That means this x n is equal to 1 to infinity. This n is varying, is a Cauchy subsequence of our sequence xn, n equal to 1 to infinity. Therefore for sequence xn there exists a Cauchy subsequence. This implies m is relatively compact. Okay, thus today we have discussed the converse part of the lemma, and finally we have proved if m is relatively compact, then for every epsilon greater than 0 there exists a finite epsilon net in m. Okay, hope everything is clear.